Okay, we are live.
Wow. Okay, once again, hi, I'm Sharon Hoffman. I'm here to guide us to our wisdom to make any dream come alive or navigate any challenge because the primary and foremost expert about you is you.
Is
I
you,
just want
is
you to
you.
tap into that. Yeah.
Yes. Right. And I'm Chris. I'm a emotional intelligence coach. I just want to break down emotion so that it's so understandable, so intuitive, so common sense that it makes sense why you're feeling certain ways and then what you can do with that to help your life be easier and happier. And my goal is to get people to feel happy or describe themselves as happy 80% of the time or more. That would be the ultimate win. That is the ultimate win. So let's aim for that. And that's what we're trying to do today. In fact, surrounding ourselves with positivity, because we're going to talk about some people call this a mental diet. Sharon, have you heard of that term?
I have. I would say I would call it, well, first of all, welcome everybody back
Yes.
to
Welcome back.
Happy and Wise. And yeah,
Yes.
we're dedicating this to positivity. And yeah, I mean, to pick up what you're talking about, people put a lot of emphasis on how to be good to their bodies, right? How to work out, how to eat with nutrition. But we're digesting a lot of other stuff. We're digesting information, we're digesting content, entertainment. So let's, today is about digesting positivity.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you
Because it's
call
good
it?
for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let me start with the logical reason why it's good for us. And you kind of are touching on it here, but our life, how we feel, what we say, what we do is determined by the thoughts that go through our head. The thoughts, it's just thought after thought. And we get 70,000 thoughts a day on average that go through our head. And those
70,000. That's a big number.
70,000 thoughts a day. It's crazy, which
I didn't think
turns
I was
out to
capable of that
I
many.
I did the math on it the other day actually, and it's about a thought a second basically, which is
Oh, okay. Okay.
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And so we're those thoughts that we're thinking affect us. They affect our whole life. They determine like the kinds of situations we put ourselves in. They determine the kinds of things that we tell other people. They determine the choices that we make, and all of those things logically shift things around in good and bad ways. And so the question becomes like, what kinds of thoughts are you thinking? And we teach here in this live stream about how to change those thoughts, how to think differently, adopt new perspectives, things like that. But you also like what's important is paying attention to your environment around you, whether that's people or TV shows or what songs you're listening to or podcasts you're listening to. What content are you absorbing? Because that content is ideas, it's thoughts, and
It
then
is
whatever
programming us.
it's
We are
that's
literally
absolutely
being programmed. Whatever we choose to digest or what's coming at us that we don't choose too. You know, we pass by a billboard on the street or an
yeah,
ad when we're watching something. We didn't choose that particular ad, but now we're digesting a program that says this is how beauty looks, this is how health looks. And before we know it, we're just adopting this mindset.
right.
And now you think about the stuff we choose, sometimes it feels like more of a little addictive tendency than a choice, but waking up and scrolling through social media, for instance,
Yep.
getting down the rabbit hole on YouTube, whatever it might be for any one of us, or just wanting to relax. And then there's a lot of stuff out there that's crime drama, true crime. We're exposed to a lot of violence that we don't see in everyday life because of what we're choosing to watch, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I don't know about you, Chris. Tell me because I want to know because in my life, almost every friend that I meet brings into the conversation the anxiety they feel about world events, about government events going
Mhm.
on in this really collective angsty kind of way. Are you finding the same thing?
Yeah, yes, and it's this accumulation of like we're talking about. It's like something I did for myself because as someone who used to have anxiety and knows that I could fall back into it if I let myself, if I let my mind go in certain directions. I've learned that there's so much sway and control that we actually have over our thoughts and over how our life goes based on what we're paying attention to. And so something I did, and here's something also, I don't want to put into buckets what um like like for example, saying social media is bad or something. Like I don't want to do that. That's not even true. It's like there are plenty of good things on social media. I know that because I'm on social media and I have purposely there's a did we talk about this, Sharon, on the show
Hmm.
before, the idea of our social media, uh what we take from it, and like having a certain feed and what comes on your feed? Have we talked
Yeah.
about that? I can't remember.
I can't remember if we talked about that here, but yeah, I'm really aware. Maybe we have that the algorithm is such that if you see, maybe it was one of our debriefs that wasn't live
Oh, okay.
because Chris and I tend to debrief after we
Yeah.
do a live stream. And we were talking about that the algorithms are such that if you tune into positive content, it will give you more positive content.
That's right.
Friends of mine have told me that, which I think is marvelous. So it's not the tools themselves that are bad. We get to choose,
Yeah.
right, where we tune in. So in terms of just what the culture is feeling at large, not everybody, but a big chunk of the culture
Yeah.
is has a lot of anxiety. We thought we'd devote today to talking about the things that bring positivity into our lives, either in things that inspire us or things that make us laugh out loud. These are books, shows, movies, whatever it might be. It could be a podcast, it could be whatever it is. So
What I love about this, Sharon, is you actually wrote a list down. So you have
I
this
have a list.
you
I pulled books from my library. I was so excited about this because okay, because
Good.
I love
Okay.
two things.
Yeah.
I love being highly entertained in a way that is just jaw-dropping, inspiring,
Mm.
and I love, um, laughing out loud. Whatever it is, it just makes me laugh. So I love getting
Mhm.
inspired, and I love just the joy of laughter, both of those things. In fact, I we were talking when we were doing we were talking about, the creativity, right?
Yes.
Julia Cameron's The Artist's
Yes.
Way.
Yes.
And you sort of challenged me to go out and do something. And I went to live comedy, just down the
How'd it
street
go?
on Tuesday. I loved it. I got to laugh for like 2.5 hours.
Oh,
And there were two
good.
different people who came on that were having debut albums recorded. So it was kind of extra special for them and kind of
Mm.
cool for the audience. They're like, no heckling, please. This is an album being recorded. So anyway, it's just, yeah, it's so liberating. And to me, it's a perfect antidote. It doesn't mean we want to put our head in the sands from, being informed, but it's a perfect antidote. Like, how do we create balance in our lives when we want to be informed, but we want to bring levity, lightness, playfulness, fun? That's so important as adults. A lot of us lose sight of that an awful lot of the time. And so working it into how we spend our time, and we're going to give you some ideas for what we love. Now, we haven't talked about this before, so I
Yeah.
don't know if you're going to hate
I
the
didn't
stuff
even come
I
up with
love or
anything, but I'm
oh,
hoping
okay.
that hearing your list will trigger some ideas in me that from
Okay.
and just full disclosure, like I have the last few years, I have not watched a lot of movies or TV shows. I'm just
Okay.
not someone who spends a lot of time. I've just been so absorbed in because you only have a certain amount of hours in the day,
Right.
and I'm so fully absorbed in like YouTube and podcasts that
Oh,
and it is positivity. It is positive things that
yeah.
I listen to, but yeah, it's like picking and choosing what works for you. So I'm excited to hear what your list is. And if anyone is watching either live or on delay, feel free to put in the comments what do you watch or listen
Right.
to, and we'll ask with each of these categories too,
Yeah.
what you like and what helps you and what you feel is adding positivity to your life in a really fun way. And again, the
Right.
beauty of it and the healthiness of it is, especially if you're really overwhelmed, it's like sometimes putting your head in the sand, if it means like getting grounded with yourself and finding your way to your heart, do that first, and
Take
then
a laugh break.
yes,
Take a love
yeah, yeah,
break. Whatever it
totally.
might be. In fact, set a timer on that for yourself, just like sometimes like the watches now will say, take a minute and breathe. So you can put that
And you
into your
take
calendar.
Yeah,
Laugh
put a
break,
set a
entertainment.
timer for 1 month, and do positive things for a month.
How about if we have that be a lifestyle change? I mean,
Absolutely
I'm
great. Oh, love it.
serious. I'm serious. I
Love
think
it.
it's gonna be a lifestyle change. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw some stuff at you. Some of it's gonna
Please. Where
be
should we start? What is
some
the
of wacky, some okay, well, I want to start with something really rando. Okay.
love
So
it?
this came up in my hiking group. I don't know what the conversation was, but we decided we got together last Saturday to hike, but we always have tea first. And we decided to bring our yearbooks, our high school yearbooks, so we could
Hmm.
share our pictures from high school. So I want to nominate that as kind of a funny, it depends how that was for
Yeah.
you.
Did you have a superlative?
No, you mean like
Yeah, like you some
I
yeah.
think I was nominated for the best smile, but
Oh, okay. I could
I
see
didn't
that.
get it. Yeah, I didn't get
You
anything.
didn't get it. Oh. You
No,
were runner up. Okay,
I
that's
didn't get
okay.
anything. But
Listen.
okay, so here is my senior year. Let's see
Oh,
if
you
I can get
brought it.
this
You
in the
have it.
camera. Wait, where is it? Okay, there I am. Oop.
At the corner?
Yeah, at
Oh
the
yeah, look
corner.
at that. Whoa.
Okay, so that's I was this was about how I was a Lindbergh Viking. So I went to school at Lindbergh in San Jose, California,
Mm.
USA. So we got a big kick out of just sharing our high school, and just to thumb through for anybody who has those, just pulling out family photo albums or yearbooks or anything.
Oh,
You
this is good. This is surprising because I thought we were going to media. I love that you started with a yearbook.
I
That's
have
such a like a
mostly
person.
media,
I
but
love
but
that. Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we can mine our own personal lives, you know,
Yeah.
for fun, just a fun run. Like this stuff sits on my shelf. I don't ever pull it down because we
Mm.
were all doing it at the hiking group. I pulled it down, and it was just so fun.
So you
So
would say this category probably includes yearbooks, photo albums,
yep,
your phone photos, your
yeah.
camera roll on your
Well,
phone.
I think, I will say this, if you have things other than on your phone, I like being this is just me personally, you may have a different viewpoint. I like personally being off of a device.
Mm.
Um, I
Okay.
I I find it's a different animal to be on a screen. So, but of course, watching a show, you're looking at a screen.
Or
But I
looking
don't
at
know,
the
there's something about the tangibility of an actual album, or sometimes people make those photo books. For
sure,
like
sure.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
friends, we all went to Hawaii, and she made a photo book gift for everybody, and
Yeah.
that's just this tangible thing. I don't know. It's just to me, it just tickles me more. This is me to bring
Sure. Yeah.
something off of the shelf
I'm
and
all about full spectrum though. So
but
I
it's
love
whatever you
those.
like. Yeah,
I
whatever
love
you like.
those, but there's also some really cute like cat videos on my phone that I can't
There you
get in a
go.
book. I just can't get them in a book. I've tried to put my videos in a book. It doesn't work.
Maybe
So,
maybe in the future. Okay.
yeah.
So that's my first little odd thing.
I
I
love that. I
Do you have
love that. I also
anything you
love just pause for a second. Like, I
yeah.
love that you have a group of friends that does things like this. Like, that's also very cool. Like, the idea that you guys get together, the fact that you do like a regular tea and you have sort of this like ritual, this routine. I just love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, thank you for saying that because I think those things have been very important to me. I have another group that we get together every Saturday and we swim in the bay together, and we meet at South End Rowing Club in the marina in San Francisco, and we jump in the bay, we go for a swim, and then we take a really hot shower, really wonderful sauna, and then we meet and we bring snacks and tea and snacks again, and it's a different group, and we laugh and have fun, and we'll go out and dance together. We're doing improv. This is a group we're doing improv together. So
This is so
gosh,
cool. Okay, so while we're on this,
mhm,
part of this concept of surrounding yourself with positivity is more than just mediums, more than
right,
just TV shows and books and whatever. It's
right,
also people. Like,
yeah,
be selective about who you spend your time around and choose to spend time, more of your time. Even if we're talking about, like, I know a lot of us have people in our lives that maybe aren't the most positive people, and that's fine. But like, just be selective about who you're deciding to spend your time with, and if that means adding more time with people who are genuinely positive and maybe a little less time or no time, if you can do that, with people who are overly negative or you feel that are bringing you down in some way, it's super helpful. And we don't sometimes we don't think we have the right to do that, but you have the right to
Yeah.
surround yourself with whoever you want. And that's, in fact, doing that is so helpful because it can really change a lot of things for you if you are around different voices that are supportive and uplifting and encouraging. It's very much a different experience when you're around people like that.
And one of the ways to know that not everybody has practiced yet, but this is an open invitation to do this, is to really tune in. How is your body responding? What is your heart feeling? What is your emotional state of being? What is your intuitive knowing about? Sometimes we just can't put words to it, but we don't feel very good when we're in a
Yeah.
certain situation, in a room, in a group with a particular person, and it happens over and over again in that same kind of setting. So
Hmm.
that's really good information that, maybe I don't feel good when I'm around.
Pay
That's
attention.
that,
Yes.
right?
Listen
Pay
to that
attention.
feeling.
Listen,
And then
listen to what's in here.
what's in there and what is, and like ask yourself what could be contributing to that, because maybe it is the people you're surrounding yourself with, maybe it is that friend that feels draining to you in some way, or whatever. It's like, if you know that, then you could start doing things to start shifting it. So keeping that in mind. Okay, great. So people,
Okay.
we have like pictures and albums
Yeah.
and like family books and things like that. I
Yes.
love that. Okay, cool.
Okay. So now I just want to run through this list of books I've got sitting next to me, and
Books. Okay,
books.
great.
I'll make it kind of brief and what I love about it, and then I want you to just jump in with anything you recognize, or if you have a question or
Okay,
whatever. Okay.
great, great.
This is like very few people I think know about this book. So some of the books are well known, some are not at all. So this is one of the most inspirational books I've ever read. It's called
Behaving
Behaving
Mattered.
as If the God in All Life Mattered by McKaylee Small Wright.
Oh,
And
never heard of it.
yeah, right? So it's an
Hey,
incredible.
someone get something. There was. Did you see the thumbs down? Like, there was
n-
like a little thumbs
no,
down bubble that came up.
no kidding. No, I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, this is an incredible true story about this woman's life. So it's part autobiography, but it's part this way she learned to commune with nature, and a farm she
Hmm.
created that exists to this day. It's in Virginia. I would love to go visit it. It's called Perlandra, where she just did magical things with her garden and
Hmm.
communing with nature. Like aphids were eating, she was planting vegetables, and aphids were eating her corn. And so she would commune and say, look, I'm going to give you a whole row if you leave the rest alone. And that sounds fantastical and ridiculous. And that's
Whoa.
exactly what would happen. They would just eat the one row and the rest would be perfect vegetables. I know it sounds crazy,
Whoa.
but
Okay.
anyway, there's proof. It's a physical place.
Whoa.
So yeah, behaving as if
What
the
and now what in that book? What did you get out of that? What was your takeaway, or what was the positive like element that it added to your life reading it?
that she started out with a very dark beginning in her life and she turned it into a great gift. That's one
Ye-
thing. And the second
Mm,
thing is actually what is possible in terms of communing with this larger consciousness. It's not just humans that are a part of it, it's all life. And that she does this with living things, aphids and critters and things. She communes with them in a way that's just extraordinary.
I
So
love how it fits into this
if
theme
you
that we're
believe
talking
it,
about today,
yeah.
which is surrounding ourselves with positivity. And honestly, like I know from just having animals, and it's a life changing thing to feel connected to things, to other, especially living things outside of us,
This is
animals,
like
nature.
this is like the maybe one of two of the most inspirational books I've ever read in my life. So
Whoa.
this is how meaningful this book is to me. And the other one that I would say is top most inspirational books changed my life, which a lot of people are aware of, is this one, Autobiography of a Yogi.
I've heard of
Um,
this book, but I've never read it.
yeah, by Paramahansa Yogananda. So he brought his teachings to the West. That's what his guru advised him to do. Self-realization fellowship is the name of it. But so this is his story of how he became a yogi and all the things he experienced in his life. Again, crazy stuff
Hmm.
like bilocation, like taking his consciousness and being physically in two places at once. Sounds crazy. It sounds
I've heard of
impossible.
this as
Yeah,
like of like there's I've tried to do this exercise, but I wasn't able to achieve it. But the idea that you can sit in a space and move your conscious awareness to
yeah,
like the corner of the room or something.
right.
That's
Yes,
crazy.
but this is like even another level. So yeah, I walked people through a visualization to do just that, Chris, in this talk I gave like a week ago. And I think that was new for a lot of people to do that. I love that. You can take your consciousness up out of yourself. This was
Whoa.
actually his physical form being seen in two totally different places at the same time. By
Whoa.
location, like physically being seen in two. I don't know how that's possible. So I had to get through the book, I had to, the first time I put it down for a few years, and then I was ready to read it. And I had to suspend my belief in what I thought was reality, because everything I had been taught flew in the face of what he talked about. So I thought either he's a big fat liar or I got it all wrong.
Can I see that cover again? Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. I thought when you first flashed this, I thought it was a book on like yogic hair care or something. That's what it looks.
Oh
That's
no,
what it looks like from the
it's the
cover.
story of his life, Paramahansa
Nice.
Yogananda. It's really, here's the thing I love about it. It was super inspiring to me because it got me to shift my perspective about how the world works. And later
Mm.
on in the book, after his guru dies, he comes back to him in a kind of ethereal form, and he reveals how everything works. What happens after you die? What happens? What is this consciousness thing all about? What are humans about? What else is out there besides humanity? And so his guru comes back and explains everything to him. And that's in the book. It's one of the last chapters. So this is a mind blowing, jaw dropping read if you feel
On
called to go
like
there.
accessing consciousness at
Yeah.
different levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just life changing, because it's kind of like, for me, the first time I ever went to a country outside of my own,
Mm.
it was life changing because I got a perspective from a different place on the planet, a different culture, a different
Hmm.
continent. Everything was different. And the only reference point I'd ever had was my own life living in the US, in California. And so this is even taking it to another level, right?
Did you find this book before your age 31
No,
uh
no,
awakening moment?
I did not. It
This
was
was after.
after. It
This
was
was after.
after.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was while I was in grad school that I was really aware of this book, and I couldn't even read it then right away.
I've heard many people, YouTubers I listen to, like mention this book specifically.
Yeah.
So that's something that's on my radar now.
I think for a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say this is the most life-changing book they've ever read, Autobiography of a Yogi, and I would say that's absolutely true for me.
Hmm.
But I would say this one is like my second.
Okay. All
Yeah, in
right.
terms of just a perspective shifter of, what's really going on in this world.
Are you someone who once a book hits you, do you come back and read it later? Or is it like a one and done? You've read it, you've absorbed it, you move on and want to read other books?
I sometimes come back to them, or
Hmm.
a specific chapter, like in the Autobiography of a Yogi book, that one where the master comes back and reveals everything. That's one I've reread. I
Mm.
feel like I need a reminder of it because I plop back down in my human
Yep.
person getting through the dayness,
Yep. Yep.
and
Sure.
so to pop into an awareness of something so different than my everyday life, the reminder is really helpful. So sometimes
And
I'll
also, like, when we revisit something later, we see it in a different way. We've learned so many things since then that we can kind of pick up new information
you know
from
what?
the second read.
You're inspiring me right now to wanna reread that book for that very reason.
Oh,
How would it hit me now? Because it's been many years. So thank you for that, Chris. I
wow.
think
Okay.
I
That's exciting.
I feel this big poof. I wanna
Oh,
go back and reread that.
listen
So
to that
thank you.
intuitive
I know.
pulse for
I
sure.
know.
Okay.
Okay, so here's another one. I mentioned this previous podcast or previous episode. A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson.
Oh, right. You did.
So now I loved this. I only read it recently. I listened to the audiobook recently. The audiobook is abridged, and it's only 3 hours, and it's just packed with super practical stuff, plus Marianne Williamson's personal story. I found it so relevant and just getting to the heart of how do you live your best life in all the practical ways, in love, in work, in everything you would want. She talks about in only 3 hours. So the book is longer. So now I want to go back. I never read this. I want to go back now and read the fuller unabridged version of the
What
book.
was your main takeaway from that book?
That she's incredibly wise. She is able to pare down all the essential wisdom teachings in a very accessible, entertaining way that we can all apply. It's very applicable in life, the way she talks about this. And her story is that she was kind of lost in her life, and then she found A Course in Miracles sitting on
I've heard of that
somebody's
book.
yeah,
Yeah.
sitting on somebody's shelf, and it changed her life. I guess I've never read it, but it's a practice one thing per day for 365 days. So a whole year worth of something different every day. And it completely changed her life. And then she started giving talks and teaching A Course in Miracles. And it brought her to a whole new understanding of herself, of life, of how life works. And so,
Okay.
but in this book, so that's a big, I think, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 volumes, of Course in Miracles, but this is just a small, little, easy, accessible. It's like a pow
A quick
of
read.
quick read to get really a deep download of essential information. That's what I love about it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So now this one, The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist.
Never heard of this either.
Okay, so this is phenomenal. This is really, Lynn Twist is the wisest person I know about money and about manifesting. And this is really a book about how to manifest, I would say, at the core. And she put her money where her mouth is. I mean, she's from the San Francisco area. She's done wonderful work for a long time. She worked for the Hunger Project. And instead of giving handouts to people who were hungry, she taught them how to move from a poverty mentality into an abundance mentality, how to start their own micro businesses. The essential question, and I've asked this to many people when I could tell they're living from a mentality of lack, which keeps us from manifesting what we want, is she would go into these impoverished communities and she would ask this question: what can you do with what you have now? They'd be like, oh, I can mend things, I can weave baskets, I can, with very little resources, everyone's got skills and they have things that they can manage and do. And so that she got them to really claim basically their plentifulness
I
by
love that. I
yeah,
love that.
it's so empowering when you learn to do that. And then you don't have a mindset that says, I am poor. The only way I can survive is to get handouts from others. That's a lifelong mindset that's, it's horrible to be set in that lack mindset. So this is really, how do you turn that around? And let me tell you, there's some fantastic stories in here about how she met with the Mother Teresa. One of my favorite stories from there. She met with Mother Teresa in a private meeting, and this very clearly very wealthy woman, because she was bejeweled and decked out, burst in the room and said, I need a picture with you, interrupted the meeting, not an apology, and physically took Mother Teresa's face and turned it so she could get the photo she wanted. And Lynn Twist tells the story in this book. She's just appalled, that, that Mother Teresa's being, woman handled, I guess you would say. And afterwards, she makes some quip to her, like, wow, I can't believe that, that she burst in here, because that was the only response that seemed true. And Mother Teresa chastised her for it. And she said, no matter how wealthy somebody is, they may be in need, and I'm here to serve those in need. She was in need in that moment. It has nothing to do with how much money you have. And so she learned a big
That makes
lesson.
sense to me.
Right? Yeah. So
totally.
that's why I love Lynn Twist and The Soul of Money. Very wisdom, just, I just found it super entertaining. There's story after story, like the Mother Teresa one, and
Mm.
you just absorb this knowledge that Lynn Twist has.
What I love, well, what this reminds me of is because I'm coming at this from I've read a few books, especially in the start of my awakening journey, which we can get to after your list. But a lot of what I absorb is through, again, like YouTube and
Yeah,
social media, Reddit, stuff like that, podcasts. And the something that resonates with me about what you're saying about this idea is that especially today, everyone has the potential. If you have an internet connection, you have and also in conjunction with knowing that you are entirely worthy. Every single person in this on this planet, even if they don't think they are, they're special in their own way. They're unique in their own way. They have value in their own way. They have unique circumstances or characteristics. People who have been through hard things, guess what? They have experiences that they can help other people who might be going through that too. It's like no
yes,
matter what it is, you have something to share. And this is a time that you are able, more than ever, any single person is able to, with an internet connection, start posting, start talking to people online, finding groups. You have more resources that you can find information that could help you, or put yourself out there in a way that can help you get ahead in life in the way you want, or start to make connections in the way you want to move in those directions. So I love the concept of like, take what you have already and
yeah,
be able to use that, because it's so true. And whether that's like creating a course for somebody that can help them,
that's right.
or just even just putting yourself out there on social media, if that's something that calls you, to inspire other people with the things that you know or the life that you've lived. I think we're only getting more connected digitally
Yes,
from here on out. And it's important for people, especially if you're sitting at home and you feel like you're doubting yourself and you don't feel like anything's possible and you don't know how to get ahead and all these are just negative thinking. This is just negative thoughts. Just remember that there's a world out there that if you start like looking around for it, reading books like that, watching YouTubes that are positive, whatever, you could discover some really cool ways. And I'm doing this too for myself, about like, how can I add value to the world? How can I put myself out there doing this? Like doing this
yeah.
as an example of that.
I love
So
this. Yes, this costs us no money to
that's
do,
right. That's
right?
right.
Because YouTube is free, Facebook is free, Restream is
Restream
free.
is free. Yeah,
So
exactly.
we're out here, yeah, I mean, it's just our time, and we're very inspired to do this. And now these are things that inspire me and a lot of other people too. And
Yeah.
so it's about following what inspires you. But I love what you're saying about, yes, we all have that ability to use. There's never been a time where we have
Yeah.
more of these tools at our fingertips. Okay, I have two more books. I'll
Okay,
go.
great.
One of them we've talked about, The Power of Now by
I've
Eckhart
absolutely heard of this.
Tolle.
Yes.
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 Have you read it?
No, I've not, but I've
Okay.
watched Eckhart Tolle's like interviews and stuff with him.
Yeah, he has a podcast that I really enjoy. Oprah Winfrey always does the intro to it. So you can listen
Mm.
to a little conversation in front of a live audience. And they're always great questions and meaningful answers. But here's what I loved about this book. So he also, his story is in here about he's one of these fully awake beings, but he was just blissed out on a park bench for 2 years as his awakening was happening.
Mm.
And then he came to be the teacher he is now. And what he talks about is that to be our journey as beings, in fact, his last podcast episode I listened to was, why are we here? We are here to awaken. That's what he said. We are here to evolve and to awaken. And a lot of people sit and they meditate to do that, to be fully awake, to be present to the moment. And what he says is that any of us can be fully enlightened in any moment where we're completely present in the moment. And I felt myself just reading his words on the page, dropping into that full presence in the moment.
Mm.
So it's super accessible, but I had direct experience of it just from reading his words on the page. So that's how powerful I found this book for anybody
Mm.
who it calls out to.
I
There
love
we
it. I've heard amazing things about this book. Uh the idea of mindfulness was not something that I fully appreciated until very recently. And now I love the concept because it really, if you're living in the present moment, if you're truly paying attention to even the little things like how the ground feels when you're walking on it, how what the air feels like on your skin,
Right.
how things are, aromas in your vicinity, what all that stuff, it
Yeah.
really does start put you in it when you're in that kind of space, you're not thinking about all of your the turmoil in your life, or the confusion, or the issues, the problems, the challenges that are getting to you, and you're able to just focus on the little feelings and sensations that you get by
That
just
was right here, right
being
now. Yeah.
being right here right now.
Meeting
It
you.
really frees your mind. I mean, the helpfulness that I now am realizing more fully is that being in those states and being in that kind of mindset is really opens your mind to being able to
Yeah.
write books like that, or do what you want to
Right?
do.
Yes.
It lets the insight in. It allows your mind to like, be open and receptive
Yes.
to what's out there for you.
That's right. And yeah, as you're talking, I'm thinking, yes, it's exactly the cure for people living in anxiety, knowing other stuff going on that they would only know because they're reading the news, digesting stuff that's really painful.
Right.
But if you do that, if you just sense your body or smell the air or whatever it is, and today is the first day of spring, so happy spring.
Oh,
We
didn't
just,
know that.
yeah, let's drink that in. Like
Okay.
we have, it's a time of renewal,
Mm,
so let's celebrate that this is spring and yeah, just dropping into those little things. I love everything you're saying, Chris. It's
mm.
so what the power of now is all about. So
Love
yeah.
it. Okay.
Okay, and my
Okay.
last book, and then I got movies and shows, but I want to hear what you've got, is You Are the Placebo by Joe Dispenza. So now a friend
Hmm.
recommended this. This is incredible for what the power we have to reprogram our bodies.
Mm,
Um, and so he tells his story of how he was told he would never walk again without this spinal fusion surgery, which would have caused a whole other host of problems. And so he said, "Nope, I'm not doing this surgery." And his doctors thought he was crazy. He had some kind of a really bad accident, like a bike accident or something.
mm,
And so he created this mental imagery of exactly what part of his spine needed to heal. And he would sit for 2 hours, super focused, talk about being present, super focused on what needed, the parts that needed to fuse back together in his spine of that happening. And he made it happen in his body. And he did got to get up and he walked out of the hospital like he told his doctors he would. So he's devoted himself to really teaching other people how to do it. And how you can reprogram your mind. I've heard Dr. Andrew Weil out of Cornell Medical Center talking about this same concept too. When he was asked, have you heard of him?
mm-mm,
He's like this big guy in medicine and healthy living. And when I heard an interview where he was asked, what do you think is the next frontier in medicine? What should we be studying? And he said the placebo effect, because all drugs that go through trials to be approved for the market have to pass the placebo test, meaning
Give us an
what
idea
is
of what
that?
the
Yeah.
placebo
So there
effect
will
is.
be
Yeah.
two groups. One is given the actual drug that they want to put on the market, and the other often is given like a sugar pill. It's nothing, and it's and to
But
see
they don't know that
they don't
it's
know.
nothing.
They
Yeah.
don't know, and it has to be double blind. So the researcher doesn't even know which one they're giving to whom,
Mm.
and the patient doesn't know which one they're receiving. And then if the drug, the actual drug is stronger than the placebo effect, then it will get approved. The placebo effect is a known thing where our consciousness will heal our bodies if we just
Thinking that it's
thinking.
taking a cure, or
That's
thinking that it's
right.
possible to happen.
That's Isn't that incredible? That's the
Yes.
placebo effect. And so You Are the Placebo is Joe's teaching everybody how to reprogram the mind to heal whatever it is that might be ailing you. It's just fascinating. I listened to it on audio and then I went back and I bought the book because I wanted to have it, and it's got like some different charts and things, visuals
Mm.
that you don't get on the audio. But anyway, however you take
Wow.
it in, it was another game changer to think of what's actually not just possible, but what is happening? I
Yeah.
mean, he did this to himself. Had
And I've
probably
heard many people talk about this before. I'm obviously not a medical doctor or person or anything like
yeah,
that. However, I've seen people like Dr. Lissa Rankin, I feel like her name is. I could be getting that wrong.
okay.
She is a doctor, a medical doctor who talks about the idea of, she did these studies of people who had, oh, what is it called? It's like there's a term for when someone has like a terminal illness and then they go into a like
Remission?
remission, like like
It
a
stops.
remission.
Yeah.
Yes, right. And reverses their condition into a healthy body. And she was studying these
Oh,
case studies
yeah,
of
that's
what is the connection between people who have these uh these remission it, experiences. What are
mm,
they doing? Like
right.
what is the commonality between them? And she was finding that, and she came into the thing that I love about this is she came in kind of skeptical because
Yeah.
she came from the medical world, the Western medical world of like looking at things, how she was taught. But she was open minded and she was curious and she followed that. And she did a Google talk, and you can YouTube her.
Yeah,
But basically she came to she teaches how she wrote a book called Mind Over Medicine, I believe.
okay.
I'm basing this on like memory of something I watched like a year ago, but it's just the concept that our minds are amazingly effective at changing our body and healing our body.
Mm,
And a lot, and what I am drawn to with it is it's essentially a natural response to shifting your mind in a positive direction.
isn't
Because
that incredible? Yeah.
when you think positively,
Mhm.
and when you, let's say you think positively, you feel peaceful, you feel calm, you feel, anytime you feel these like just peace, calm, happiness, joy, love, appreciation for things, it's not only the mental piece. When you think that way and when you're in those headspaces, our bodies activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the how we're supposed to. That's how the body heals. By being in parasympathetic nervous system activation, our bodies do what it's supposed to naturally do. When we are in fight or flight, or fight, flight, or freeze, or whatever that like anxious state is,
Right.
in short bursts, that's okay. We're supposed, it allows us to be, alert and protective of ourselves, but we're not meant to stay in that like stressed out anxious stage for like long periods of time. And when we are, our body doesn't have the chance to heal itself of the things that are going on in it. And so by practicing mindfulness or meditation, or like even just enjoying life more purposely, like allowing yourself to relax, allowing yourself to go have fun, allowing yourself to do whatever it is that your heart enjoys, it not only feels good, but it allows your body to sort of relax itself and
That's
activate
right.
the healing elements and properties that are built in inside of us, that sometimes we, and I include myself in this as someone who had anxiety for many years, just stretched out for long, long stretches of time where when I was having anxiety, like I had a lot of IBS problems. I had a lot of stomach issues, bathroom issues, because my body couldn't do what it was supposed to do because I was so tense and I was so
Yeah.
tight and I was so stressed. And so I love the concept of how we can use our mind to affect our body. And it's not crazy. It's not, it's very logical why that works. So I'm glad that there are people out in the world talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm curious, Chris, because everything you say is just so powerful. I'm wondering if the things you did to overcome the anxiety you experienced personally, if you find that now when all of the negativity from conversations or the media or just world news comes in to your landscape, if you are processing it differently because of what you learned from getting over your anxiety.
I think I just put it in a different context now. Like I don't take
Mm,
it in and say like, "Oh, because this is happening, that means it's guaranteed to be bad," or that means that, my future is going to be shitty or whatever. I'm trying to be better about when I learn about things or hear about things, or when something, or even whether it's personal or outside of me, kind of stresses me out. I just kind of, my mind can put it in the context of remembering these things that are always true. Like, for example, no matter what the news is, no matter what's going on in my life, no matter what is happening, I know that if I uh find ways to find peace in my life or to relax, that's always going to be good for me. If I find ways to laugh, that's always going to be good for me. If I
Yeah.
find ways to enjoy my life or have fun, that's always going to be good for me. And so that overrides anything else. So yeah, I'll get tripped up sometimes. We all do. We're human. Like, we have things that affect us. Something I hear about like stresses me out, or something that happens in my life like kind of is like, surprises me in some way. I'll take the initial hit, but in my anxiety days, I used to just carry that and just not know what to do with it, not know how to navigate it. And it would just be that state for long stretches of time. And now I take the hit and then I remember, oh yeah, what I need to do and what's always going to be helpful for me is to relax. So I'll
Mm.
meditate or go on walks or go on bike rides or practice positive self-talk, or try to change the way my perspective on something so that I can see it in a different light, so that I can feel better about it. All of these things, they're always going to be true no matter what the bad incident is in
Yeah.
that stressor is. There are some things that are guaranteed always true, and I stay to those because they're reliably right.
Yeah, it sounds like you have these 2 really powerful things that you put into play.
Mm,
One is a powerful set of tools that you've learned really get you there, and
mm,
the other is that you've spent now a lot of time formulating a new habit for yourself. So you're in a new
mm, mm,
habit of how to respond, and so
mm-hmm.
you probably don't go there as often, but you can get yourself out of it relatively quickly because you
Yeah.
can recall you can
Yeah.
pull things from your toolkit, right? So
Yeah.
these are great things for each of us to customize for ourselves, those things that we know work for us. And so we're talking today about
Yeah.
things that, that may or may not work for you. It's just give you ideas of here's some things that inspire us. Here's some, and I think the laughter that you talk about is so important. One of the things I was exposed to a while back that I just love, I don't do it enough, is laughing yoga. Have you ever heard of this or done this?
No, tell me about that.
Oh my God, it is so fun. In fact, I want to get my friends to do this together. Some of them have done it. But it's you basically you get a group of people together and then somebody starts you off and just you know, and then something about how
Oh, if I hear somebody laugh,
right?
I can't
It's
help but laugh.
infectious. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the way they're laughing is gonna kick off other people laughing, and then other people are gonna laugh at how those people are laughing, and pretty soon,
Oh,
everybody is just laughing, and it'll just go undulating in ripples and waves. It might calm down a little bit, but then somebody like, and then it keeps
I
going.
do this with my nephew sometimes. So
Oh my
he'll
god.
do a fake laugh that will
Yeah,
like,
right.
or he'll imitate a laugh. Like if I
Yes.
laugh just authentically about something, he won't know what I'm saying, but he'll copy me.
He
But
likes it
hearing
for
him
laughing.
do that makes me laugh, and then
Yeah,
that makes him, and it goes
yeah.
like back and forth.
The
Yeah.
back and forth, it is so fun. If you try doing that for like 20 minutes, your stomach, you'll get a good ab workout at the
Oh,
same
oh
time.
wait, I have to show you something. Hold on, I
Okay.
gotta try to. I have a laughing
I can't
yoga
wait to
makes me
see
think
this.
of this. I have a
Oh,
laughing
laughing
Buddha.
Buddha. Oh, cool.
He was just so happy. I felt like it was I had to surrounding myself with positive, happy things. You
You
know.
gotta bring him in the room with when if you do a laughing meditation. Okay, then I'll tell you what we did, years ago that even upped it even more. This has to be a group you feel really at home with, right? So everyone sprawled out lying on the floor of a room, but each person put their head on the belly of another person. So
Mm.
imagine an interlocking chain of people. Everyone has their head on the belly of another person. Now when you laugh, you're bouncing all it just
Whoa,
makes
that's
you laugh even
interesting.
more.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Whoa.
this would be a fun thing to do with kids. We were adults being like big kids, which I encourage all adults to do
Yes,
if
we should
you
all be
feel
playing.
comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
it's
course.
play. It's total play. Yeah.
Okay, so the books that
Yeah.
have really hit home for me. I mean, the one that changed my life was "Ask and It Is Given" by Esther
Yes.
Hicks.
Love that one.
Very like transformative. It's very spiritual. But as a spiritual person, it really opened my eyes. It introduced me to the concept of paying attention to my emotions because they'll tell us everything. They tell
Do
us
you want me to
all
go
the
grab it?
information.
I have it. Do you want me to go grab that
Yeah,
book?
please.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go
I
get
don't
it,
know if I
and
have a physical copy. So yeah,
something else
please.
by them too.
But this book was what truly, like, I came across it in this random series of coincidences or synchronicities like that happened in my life. And I was at a store, and this is a story for another time, but because it's a
And
longer
here's the
story, there
book.
it is. Um, this
Sorry.
is so I was at this. I had these crazy things happen to me, and
There it is.
I was in this books or not this bookstore. I was in this clothing store, and I was just telling the person who was ringing me up, like, because something happened crazy in the store, and I was like, these good things just keep happening to me, and I don't know how to explain it. And she said, "Oh, that's interesting, because my roommate is saying that the same thing's happening to her, and she's reading the book Ask and It Is Given." And so I was like, "Huh." So I used that synchronicity to like say
Kind
to
of
tell myself
spark of interest. Yeah.
I should see what that's about. So I downloaded the audiobook and I listened to it for the next 2 days, and it just totally changed my life in every way. It made me my anxiety went away. My like literally within days, my I just had a deeper connection to myself, more intuitive feel for who I am. Everything just made more sense. And it changed the whole trajectory of what I wanted to do in life, which is why I wouldn't be here if not for that book. I wouldn't be doing this with you if not for that book.
It was
So
a real turning point,
a real turn.
transformational turning point.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes.
amazing. Okay, so I want to add to that. I don't know if you know about these books. These are incredible. These are also by Esther and Jerry Hicks. They're written
The
for
Sarah books, I've heard these are basically the same info, but for kids, right?
yes, but you know what I have to tell you? I wanted to give them to kids, but I thought I've got to read them first for myself.
You got to, yeah, of
And I
course.
absolutely loved them. They were page turners. And when I looked at the reviews, that's what all the adults were saying. I know these are for kids, but I loved these
You
books.
love them so much you never gave them to the kids. You
Well,
kept them.
I I've gifted them many times, but I keep my own set. In fact,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
then I loan these out a lot to people who have kids so they can try them out with their own kids. In fact, the third book was written because a teacher assigned her classroom these books and they loved them so much they wrote to the Hickses requesting a third book by Abraham to address some other questions they had. And that's
Mm.
what this book is, to answer what the kids wanted next.
I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
basically the principles of these teachings or these books are to listen to yourself, to listen to you, listen to your emotions. They will guide you. Don't listen to anyone else. Don't even listen to them. Listen to you and your heart and your intuition and how you feel, and base your life on that. And that's what really spoke to me and opened me up, because it was like, oh, of course. And so now what I've kind of like distilled, what I coach now is that information, but in a logical common sense framework instead of a spiritual one. But it's so important to understand your emotions and like pay attention to those. Life changing. The other
Yeah.
book that I really resonated with was
Hmm.
Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Have you read that?
I haven't. I just
Oh, you
read
would like
The
this.
Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, but
Oh, I think that might be his second book. I
because
don't
somebody
know. I don't know the
recommended it, but I haven't read The Untethered Soul.
Oh
Okay.
my God. It was just the idea of living as you and just finding yourself. You would love this book, Sharon. You would
Okay.
absolutely love it.
Okay.
But that was a book that really in these early days of my own awakening spoke to me in a way. And that was a book that I could pass on to, like, Asking Is Given was too spiritual for a lot of my friends, but
Hmm.
Untethered Soul, even though it touches on that idea of consciousness and spirituality, it was more digestible for some of my less spiritual friends. So it
I
had
see.
impacts on those people too.
Oh,
So
interesting.
very
Okay.
much recommend that book.
Okay, I'm gonna
Um,
check that out. Thank
Please,
you.
yes, I would
Yeah,
love to hear your thoughts
I've
on it once
I've
you
heard
do.
that book come up a lot, just in
Oh
circles
yeah,
of people who are seekers in life, want to grow and evolve. I've heard that book come up. So, okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna read that one. Can I just mention one other thing that I love about the Sarah books?
yeah. Please.
is that I think kids so often feel like they are disempowered in the world because they have adults telling them what to do.
Right.
And the power of ask it and is given, like you said, is really how we claim our power by
Hmm.
claiming our truth.
Hmm.
And those books written for children teach children how to do that. Even though you may have adults who have ultimate authority, teaches you how to really step into your own personal empowerment, even as a kid. It is very possible to do that. So that's what I love
I
about.
love that because this is not. I honestly think that this kind of stuff should be taught to anyone, everyone at any age. It's helpful to always
Start
learn
young.
how to listen to yourself. That's important.
Yes.
That's an important skill and an important thing to do. I was literally listening to a podcast. So, we're almost at the top of the hour
I
here,
was just realizing that,
but
and
we only
we
did
haven't even
books
gone to
today.
movies and shows.
I know. Maybe this is worth saving until next week instead of trying to zoom through everything in
You
five
wanna do a
minutes.
part 2 and do the, like, movies and
Yeah, yeah. Let's
okay,
do a part two. But what I'll
okay.
say is connected to the idea that you were just mentioning. I was listening to a podcast that Joe Hudson does, who's a coach. He's like uh, he's kind of like a business coach, but it's about living enjoying your life in a way that allows you to do it with fun and ease, like doing what you want with like enjoyment and ease. I think that's his like mantra. But
Yeah.
the one of the things he was talking about was when he's raising his daughters, he makes he the topic of the episode I just listened to was how to stop trying to seek approval. Like when we always think we need to get approval from other people, we care too much about what they think. We're trying to look for validation. We're trying to look for approval from others. How do you address that? How do you stop that? And one of the things he was saying was like, I'm teaching my daughter how to not I'm trying not to give her direct like when she does something good, I don't say, oh, you did a good job, that was really good, you're so great, you're so amazing. He instead says, how do you feel about that? And then
Mm, yeah,
literally directing the kid to ask themselves and turn inward to find their
beautiful.
answer,
Mhm.
because that's training someone to look on the inside for what should happen, what they want, what they like, what how should they should navigate their life, instead of always, because if we establish it from the beginning that you're always looking for someone else to tell you you're doing a good job or you're this is the right move or whatever, then that's all we know. So when we get older, that's what we're still always looking at for the external people to navigate our life when it's all about turning inward.
Oh,
So
I love that. I wish every parent around the world could lead with that kind of response with their
yeah,
kids.
yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that amazing what beautiful, confident kids you'd have? And I know from having watched some things about kids in different cultures that there are some incredible things that kids do in other cultures that they don't do, for instance, in the US, like in Japan, when I think you're 4, you're sent on your first mission, and you might be in the middle
What?
of busy Tokyo, and you're sent, like,
By
on
yourself?
by yourself. You've gotta navigate the
Whoa.
streets, crossing them, maybe some transportation
At 4?
at 4, and it's there's a big thing about it, and go and get whatever the thing is whatever it is you're supposed to be doing, yes, at 4,
Now,
and
are the parents like following them like
nope,
secretly, like looking behind bushes to make sure they're
no,
okay?
they're
This
not,
is crazy. That's a
right?
crazy amount of trust.
And then
That's
in
crazy.
Mongolia, little kids, no matter how, how many people are in the family, kids from the smallest age are given things to do to contribute. So things are put on them and then they learn confidence that they're a part of things too. They're not there to just play with their toy, but they're actually contributing. So I mean, I got to go and experience that in Mongolia. It was really beautiful. So
Hmm.
I think we can learn from other cultures as well. Yeah.
I just love the concept of like at the end of the day, we're all our own conscious souls. We're all our own conscious beings. We're all our own, presences. And so and even when we're first born, like we are our independent soul. And yes, we're cared for. And yes, we're watched over and we're, loved and appreciated and nurtured. but like there's this element too that you're an individual being even at young ages, and it's important to be able to understand how you're feeling about things, how what you think about things, what your preferences are, and how you can listen to yourself and know what your emotions mean. So I'm glad that there are books out there like the Sarah books that I've not read them, but I want to read them as an adult. I want to read them.
Okay, I can say with confidence, Chris, that I think you would love these books.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Are they like novel? Is it like a novel? It's like a fiction, but it's
Yes,
like telling the story
yes,
of like these.
all the books have the same set of characters as a group of kids and a talking owl.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
All
those
right,
are, yeah.
great.
Mhm.
Okay, those are the main books for me that were impactful. You've went
Mm,
through your book list, right?
yeah.
That covers your full list of books.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, I'm done with that. So I've
Okay,
just got
great.
movies and shows. We can hit that next
We'll
time.
do that next time. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that idea because here's the thing, like the surrounding yourself with positivity and purposely, like consciously making the decision to consume positive things, especially if you are someone who for whatever reason needs to like consume other things or needs to keep up with news or needs to whatever,
Right.
like at least have like
Have
some
balance.
kind of consumption, a balanced mental diet, a balanced mental diet.
Mental di Yeah, and I have to say, just talking about it, just the subject, you've inspired me, 1, to read The Untethered Soul, and 2, to
Yes.
reread Autobiography of a Yogi, so I wanna thank
Oh,
you for that, Chris.
oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
great. That's
excited for both of
excellent.
those things, yeah.
Amazing. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Well, if anyone watching or might be watching on a replay later in the week, if you have any books that have really touched you, that have really opened your eyes, that have changed your life in some way, that have made your life easier or happier or felt more connected to yourself, post them in the comments. I would love to hear your
Oh, yeah.
suggestions. I'm sure
Let's bring
Sharon
that
would
in.
too. Like you might
I
give us an idea to
totally
read stuff.
would. Yeah, and we have people coming here from Clubhouse, and so shout out to the Clubhouse community. Yoni, if you're watching, hello, because I know you've been
Hey,
coming,
Yoni.
tuning in. So, yeah, really, and if anybody wants to come here, let us know, DM or whatever us, and we'll send you the link and you come join us live or put something in the chat. We're happy to hear from you. If you have a question and you don't want to come up, but you want to just put it in the chat for next time, any which way you want to reach out to us, maybe we should get into that, how you reach out to us,
Yeah.
right?
So you
Okay.
could reach out by just posting your comments or in the chat, and then we'll see them. And we sometimes answer questions in the following episode. So type your questions in, comments, whatever. We would love to read them. You can also, oh, did you?
Oh, we're doing
We
something
hit
at
it at the
the
same
same
time.
time. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
so
funny.
hilarious.
You can find Sharon at SharonHoffmanLiving.com. She has a free gift that you can get. It's a guided visualization. It's super fun. I've done it myself. That is speaking of surrounding yourself with positivity and consuming positive like insight and information, that free gift that you can get that you just like, it's a 10-minute audio that you listen to. And Sharon just guides you with her very like soft, but you have a great voice for this. I told you that when I listened to
Thank
it, but
you. Yeah.
it allows you to like take a little stroll inside your own conscious being and find like find some clarity that you might be looking for. So it's super
Mm.
helpful. Check that out on her site. And of course, she's on Clubhouse 2 days a week. Sharon, what days are you on Clubhouse?
I'm on Clubhouse every Wednesday at 6 p.m. and every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. And of course, Chris and I are here on live stream Facebook and YouTube every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. So please
Yeah,
like, by the way, if you got anything from this live stream today, give us a thumbs up, give us a
yeah,
like, follow us. That really
right.
helps. And if you want to do something to help us in some way, engagement helps.
I love that.
It tells YouTube and Facebook, hey, people get something from this. Let's show other people. So by liking and by commenting and by subscribing, whatever, you're letting YouTube and Facebook know, like, oh, this is valuable content. Let's show more people. So if you want to help more people get what you're getting from this, then do those things and share this
Thank you.
content.
And share. Just
Share.
use the
Yeah,
share
absolutely.
link. Yeah. So yeah, we hope you got something inspiring out of today.
Yes.
And to find Chris, you only have to go to chrisnewth.com.
So
Find
simple. It's
a
so
lot
easy.
a lot of great information, and also, of course, on his YouTube channel where
Yes.
you can find all of now we have quite a library going of these live streams. That's where they live.
Yes.
And you can also sign up for Chris's cheat codes on
Yes.
chrisnewth.com, and this is a really priceless bit of information that comes into your email inbox. And talk about all the spam people tend to get. Now, this is something you want to get because, again,
Yes.
it tunes you into the orientation to really live the life you want to be living, and some
Yes.
simple tips on how to get you there. That's why they're cheat codes, quick,
Yes.
simple ways to do it. I'm a subscriber, and it always lights me up, and sometimes it really makes me laugh out loud
Oh,
based
thanks,
on
Sharon.
what it is that comes there. So yeah, check out chrisnewth.com
Awesome.
and sign up for his cheat codes.
Yes, it's a EQ newsletter, and I really want to teach people emotional intelligence. I've tried. I've taken the most helpful things I could possibly think. I've written detailed emails about every single topic that most helped me, and I put them in a daily format. So when you sign up, you get one day, and then you get the next day, and you get the next day, and it walks you through the things that changed my life the most. And I don't hold anything back. I share everything I know in the most long form. It is sort of long, so if you want like a nice 5-minute read, that's what these are for. But you can also skim them and just find the cheat codes. Either way, it's totally free. It's super helpful. Sign up on my website, chrisnews.com. It's right there for you. This was fun, Sharon.
It was so I just always have so much fun with you, Chris. So I just
Oh, me
wanted to
too.
say, I want to thank you for this whole idea to do the live streams together, because this was
Oh,
your baby. This was your idea. And I heard yes coming out of my mouth because it was an instant, immediate yes for me. And it's been a fun ride ever since.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you for saying that. I was really drawn to your rooms on Clubhouse. That's how we met.
Mm.
And I remember doing multiple rooms. Specifically, I did a bunch of rooms, yours and other people's, but every time I came into yours, everything you said just resonated. I truly felt like I was listening to myself talk in a different language about these things, and I was like, oh well, this is someone I want to work with or collaborate with in some way, because we're teaching the same thing, but we're using different language, and that's the beauty of this live stream right now.
It is, and you were saying things that were in my mind, and you were giving voice to them, so we could finish each other's sentences. And I noticed that whenever you speak in my rooms, people really respond to
Mm.
you, your message, just your vibrancy. So I
Oh,
I
thanks.
think I think it's a good fun pairing to collaborate when it
Mm.
makes sense, and this makes sense. You would have really enjoyed the room last night because there were all these people who were brand new, and they
Mm.
were saying they just all kind of popped in and they stayed, and they were like, "Wow,
Whoa. Oh,
I got
that's
dropped
cool.
into some really meaningful information."
Whoa, I love that.
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah, it was a really fun there. You never know where in the world people are gonna come in, tune in, and whether
Yeah,
they're gonna be your friends or people who are regulars or brand new people, and it was
or
a
brand
whole bunch
new.
of brand new people in addition to some regulars, but wow, it was
Yeah.
really
Oh, that's
cool.
so fun. Oh, that,
Mm,
yes.
it's
Okay,
fun.
that
In
makes me
fact,
itching.
I stayed for, like, I think an extra hour because it kept
Whoa.
going and going. Yeah, I know.
I love that. And I think the reason that this stuff resonates with people, if I had to guess, is because we're basically telling you watching what you already know. Like,
Yeah.
this is what you already know this. We're just reminding you in different ways and trying to get your mind to be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. That's true." Because this is a human experience that we're in, and these concepts we're talking about listening to yourself, doing what makes you happy, tuning inward, connecting with who you are. These are all things that you know. It's just but not everyone says it. And sometimes we get lost in the weeds of like all the chaos and the craziness in the world or in your personal life, whatever. And it's nice to have that reminder. So rooms like your Sharon's Clubhouse rooms or this live stream is here to just be a voice to remind you, hey, remember this thing that you know deep down in you? It's still true.
And it's not because of paying attention to what we're saying or following what we're saying, it's because of your inner response.
Yeah.
And when you get a big yes or a big no, it leads you in the direction, right? To say
Hmm.
no to this, yes to this. And so
Right.
that if, and we can't say that enough, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Don't listen to what we're saying.
No,
Listen to your inner
please don't listen to
response
us.
to what we're
Yes.
saying. Yeah, please don't. I mean, you can listen, but you really want to follow
Yeah.
what's in here.
Yes.
All of
Yes.
life, no matter who is talking,
You are your best teacher. You know
Yeah.
yourself the best.
Mhm.
Listen to that. Don't let, we're just guessing and we're just saying what works for us.
Mhm.
Ultimately, it's about listening to yourself and learning how to do that. So I like when I'm coaching people, I like to say, like, I'm teaching you, I don't listen to me as a coach. I'm teaching you how to coach yourself. I'm teaching you how to teach yourself because once you do that, I mean, then you could use those tools forever.
That's right. And I will
Yeah.
say, I've been absorbing knowledge for many years now. I'm 61. And I would say, like, all of these books,
Mm,
they're all coming from, or all these information sources, these wise voices on the planet, they are drawing from the same knowledge. They have slightly
mhm.
different ways of sharing it. I'm not saying everybody, but the people that we've been talking about today,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really the same pool of knowledge shared through slightly different voices and stories. And so, whatever access point resonates with you, that's what you want to follow. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of the beauty. Like find your person or find your people
that's
that speak to in a language or speak these truths in a language that resonates with your heart. Because yeah, there's some people there that I mean there's so many people that are teaching this, but maybe you don't connect with someone the way someone's angle or someone's or even just their way of talking, but there are, 10,000 other people that are sharing it in ways that you might be able to just that makes so much sense to me, that speaks to me, or I like their vibe, I just like their energy. That's important.
that is that
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
Oh, well, I think
Oh
we've done another one. So
yeah, we did another one.
thank you,
Yeah.
everybody who's tuned in, whether you're tuning in live or watching a replay of this. Great to have you tuned in.
Oh, it was, yes, and please tune in next week, same time, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We're live right here. And if you want to join next episode, feel free. If you're watching in the actual live while we're doing it, just send us a comment and we'll send you a link, and then you can jump on here with us and chat. And we've had previous episodes where people have come on and talked to us. It's really fun. It's really engaging. It's really good conversation, and we would love to hear from you. So
Yeah, and let us
don't.
know even what you want us to talk about or what kind of guests you want us to have on, including yourself. But if there's some
Yes.
topic or people, whatever it might be, let us know that too.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is to help you. So tell us
Mhm.
what you want to talk about so we can kind of engineer this show to kind of fit what it is that you're looking for. And if we know what our audience wants, then we'll talk about that and we'll have you on, and it'll be a conversation that we can all enjoy. And if you're too afraid to go on video, I understand that too, because I used to be on only Clubhouse and I didn't want to do video. Sharon, I think you were in the same boat, didn't want to do video.
You got me to do video, and
I
now it's like I think it's wonderful
and now it's
because people get more
yes.
information. They get the visual plus the
Yeah.
voice, all of it.
But you don't have to, if you come on here, you don't have to be on video. You can be on
Right.
audio. We've had guests come on, didn't show their face, just heard their voice, and it was so nice. We've had people that didn't want to even do that, and they wanted to just comment, and that's also nice. So all forms of chat and communication and interaction are welcome. So reach out to us in any way, and we hope to see you in a future live stream.